inference for transformer probabilistic models. And actually, kind of the tagline is very short, and the idea is that, okay, so I discussed before how it's important that all these models kind of preserve this set property. So let's say, so you can kind of move around your data points, and but let's say your prediction doesn't depend on the ordering of your data because it's a set. Now it turns out that that's all very good and nice, but it makes really nasty, effectively kind of expanding this set. So if you have got more data, since it's a set and it uses kind of this self-attention, which is kind of between all the points, every point that you add, you need to recompute everything from scratch. So there is no concept of, for example, KV caching, which is kind of a staple of modern transformers and modern LLMs. The idea that okay, you kind of store some computation you've done so far, and you only need to compute the additional tokens that you learn. So the idea is that, of course, we could do that, but we would possibly possibly lose something. So the idea is that, okay, so what if we use this idea of a buffer, in the sense that so we keep the context fully set based, fully self-attention. Then we can add kind of something which doesn't do full attention with the entire set, which would require us to recompute everything, but effectively only does what's called causal attention, which means that each tokens kind of only watches the previous tokens. So now this is not permutation invariant anymore, so we are kind of breaking this permutation invariance, but we are doing it only for kind of these additional points that you add. So the idea is that you kind of add new points very quickly, and you can make predictions very quickly for new points. And then once you're done with that, you can kind of, okay, now you have time, you can put them back into your set, and now you can use low update, in which you update everything. So kind of and this actually has a lot of usages, because it's kind of, so you can keep your context permutation invariant. Then you can do a lot of kind of, even in parallel, you can literally sample thousands of points using this technique. And then let's say you can kind of merge it back, all the information back into your context. Anyways, so it's maybe in a way it's kind of more a kind of architecture, more engineering in a way. Let's say there was a lot of problems that need to be solved, like engineering wise. But it's something that we're kind of building on, because it kind of lets us, again, it's an unlock, because we can do a lot of things with this now.
Damn, yeah. We definitely need the links to these papers in the show notes. And so what are the cool things we can do now with that? Like, what are you working on right now based on these papers? I'm guessing you're trying to add some of these possibilities to some packages. So yeah, what are you planning around that to help people use it?
Well, so the grand vision here is that we've been discussing, let's say, my group. Let's say I have the I can show the logs. I've been talking about foundation model for inference for many years, and so that's something we've been kind of discussing for a long time, and that's always been kind of the the North Star for us, for my group, especially building exactly this foundation model for inference. And in order to get there, we kind of need to solve a lot of problems. Shout out, of course, goes to what have become foundation models for inference recently. Recently, past few years, all the tabular foundation models have shown us the way how you can build a foundation model for inference. Of course, they apply to tabular data, but a lot of things can be put in a table. So from my perspective, let's say they're general purpose foundation models for inference. Let's say, even though people kind of call them tabular data for historical reasons, I guess. But let's say you can apply them to a lot of things, and and they've been kind of doing amazing. We are very interested essentially in that direction, to expand in that direction. And there are lots of things that you can do. Let's say, but so of course, there is a lot of new ideas that can be tried in the space, and luckily these models are still fairly small, let's say, compared to LLMs. Let's say, so they're still nicely within the reach of what we can do, again, within academia. So we don't need to kind of spend millions or hundreds of millions or billions to get training done. So let's say, so that's quite exciting, because so we can still kind of contribute. And for example, just to mention, the buffer that I just mentioned, can be applied to transformer, neural process, etc., but also to tabular foundation models. So let's say, one particular thing that you can do with this kind of fast prediction that doesn't require you to recompute everything is unrolls, which are very useful for if you're doing reinforcement learning. So let's say, so if you kind of want to do fast predictions to see what happens, as you add more data points and you want to do, RL on this. What we built allows us to make it like 100 times faster or something like that. So it's, with much, with 100 times fewer memories, like it's super useful. So let's say, so that's something we're going to use definitely. I mean, also others can use. And just mention a direction. So a lot of the things we are doing are part of a kind of a grand plan, and we're kind of building one step at a time. But let's say there is an arc where we're going towards.